Let's talk about the model of human communication. As you can see in this graph, there are several elements in this model. There are a sender and a receiver. The sender will prepare a message by encoding it first, then send the message via a channel. So the receiver will receive the message and also process it by decoding the message. Throughout the whole process, there's always noise surrounding it. After the receiver got the message and processed it, the receiver will also send a feedback to the sender. So this is what we call a transactional model of human communication, because there's always some kind of feedback involved. So it is a two-way communication. After we discuss the ingredients of human communication, let's take an example. I will use the example of a classroom. In a classroom environment, there are students and teachers. The sender of message is the teacher, the instructor. So an instructor has to prepare the message before he or she can deliver it. This preparing process is called encoding, because the teacher has to prepare for lecture and also prepare for the PowerPoints and his or her presentation. Receivers will be students. Students will receive the message and try to understand it. So the process of understanding is called decoding, which means you have to pay attention to the instructor's lecture and also try to make sense out of it. So the message transmitted from the instructor to students are in the format of sound waves. So in this case, the lecture is most likely to be voice. Sometimes it may also include many other different multimedia formats such as video, pictures, text on the screen. If we're talking about the voice of the lecturer, the voice will travel through the channel which is the air, because sound waves travel through the air. Of course, right now a lot of class is online, which is why the channel can also be the internet. In this classroom, there's always some kind of noise. So what kind of noise we may have? The first kind of noise is physical noise. If there's a construction going on outside the classroom, the noise is gonna be the construction noise. So it is the actual physical noise. But there may also be physiological noise. If a student is sick, hungry, or sleepy, this kind of physical condition can interfere with his or her attention, understanding of the class. Another one will be psychological noise. And so psychological noise can be somebody's mood and mental state. For example, if a student was having a troubled relationship with a boyfriend or girlfriend, he or she will not be able to focus on the class, which is why your psychological state can also affect how much you can get from a class. So after the student understands the lecture, he or she will always try to send some kind of feedback. Because we're talking about this transactional model, is two-way. You are not only the receiver, you also send the message back. So what kind of message they will send back to the instructor? So there's actually two kinds of message, or we call it feedback. The first kind of feedback is active feedback. So some students, they will raise their hands and try to ask a question, or sometimes maybe giving a comment about a topic. So this is active feedback. But some other students, maybe they think they're not sending any kind of message. Actually, they also are sending some kind of message. We call it a passive feedback. So for example, if a student is not paying attention in class, he or she doesn't have to do anything. There's still some kind of message you can tell from their facial expression, their eye contact, their body gesture, and their posture. For example, in this picture, those students, they are not paying attention. So not paying attention in class, is also some kind of feedback they're sending to the instructor. So can you guys think about a specific communication example in a different setting and use this model to analyze how people communicate?